Nigeria, Oyo program themed biosecurity for sustainable poultry business in this critical period. All of us know that this is a challenge all over the nation, hub of poultry production in Nigeria. It's just fitting that we should pioneer and be pace setters in response to the challenges facing poultry farmers all over Nigeria. It's a pleasure to welcome all of you stakeholders in the poultry value chain to this event. A kí gbogbo wa káàárọ̀ níbikíbi tẹ́ bá ti ń gbọ́ ohùn wa lónìí. Ẹgbẹ́ àwọn ọlọ́sìn adìyẹ Poultry Association of Nigeria, Ọ̀yọ́ State, wọ́n kí yín káàbọ̀ sí ìpàdé lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára tí à ń ṣe láàárọ̀ yìí láti sọ̀rọ̀ nípa àwọn ìdojúkọ tí à ń dojúkọ nínú ọ̀sìn adìyẹ káàkiri orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà, pàápàá jùlọ ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ níbí. A kí wa káàbọ̀. So it's a pleasure welcoming all of us, and let's give a few minutes for people to join. We can see already several people joining in. Let's give a little more time for more people to join us as we get ready for the event. So you are all welcome, but allow us to leave a few minutes for more people to join us, and then we will roll. Thank you very much once again. You are all welcome. It's a full house here. We already have in our midst our facilitators for the day. We also already have in our midst the leadership. It's 11:15 now, and it's good for us to just start this program. Let me hurry to say that a number of organizations within our industry have supported the Poultry Association of Nigeria to make this happen. And it's our joy to acknowledge our sponsors as we get started on the program. We'd like to thank, in no particular order, Agricare STD Limited, we thank you. FDH, thank you. Jubaili, thank you. Tonarite Limited, thank you. Amobing Nigeria Limited, thank you. CHI, thank you. And also Apple and Pears, thank you very much for your support for today's program. I'm your anchor for today. My name is Dr. Adebayo Kolade. I work with Zygosis Nigeria Limited. It's a pleasure to welcome you. We also have in the house today the chairman. We have with us the chairman of the Poultry Association of Nigeria, Oyo State, Mr. Agbemisoye Agbola. It's a pleasure to have him around. We also have with us the State Secretary, Chief Henry Akimbote. It's a pleasure. Making sure that everything goes well is the Admin Secretary of the Poultry Association, in the person of Mr. Michael Olukbono. It's a pleasure having you around also. Our facilitators for today are people we all know. They are very close household names in the poultry industry. One of them is a father figure in the profession, in the person of no other person than Dr. Stephen Adejoro. It will be more appropriately introduced in the course of the program. So it's a pleasure to welcome Dr. Stephen Adejoro into our midst today. Our second keynote speaker for the day also is a household name. In addition, also in the poultry industry, is the national sales manager for Adamo Nigeria Limited, in the person of Dr. James Baba Wageti. Dr. Wageti is an erudite speaker, a great facilitator. It's a pleasure to welcome him into our midst. And to lead our plenary session is no less a person than another erudite scholar, great speaker, and one of our leaders in the Poultry Association of Nigeria, also in the person of my Oga himself, Dr. Segun Makanjuola. He'll be leading us in the plenary session. And so that is the lowdown of our speakers for today and the coordinators. And in a short while, we will be hearing from our chairman, the chairman of the Poultry Association of Nigeria, Oyo State Branch, Mr. Agbemisoye Agbola. But before we bring him on, let's just remind ourselves of the reason why we are here. The poultry industry in Nigeria is challenged, and today we are here to talk about a major weapon to confront the challenges facing the poultry industry currently. And this weapon is a weapon of biosecurity. So our emphasis today is on how biosecurity can be deployed as a tool for ensuring that farmers overcome the challenges that face us in the industry at this time. Yeah, the poultry industry is confronted by myriad challenges, the challenge of cost, the challenge of market, and many others. And however, the things that are life-threatening are primary challenges. If your birds have to be alive for them to lay, they have to be alive for you to be talking about prices. So this is a survival issue that we are dealing with when you are dealing with health or threats to the poultry industry. And we know that as insiders to the industry, we know that of late there have been threats of outbreak of disease, and it is important, it is incumbent upon us that we all become abreast of what we need to do, and all of us together collectively embrace good practices that will enable us cope and in fact overcome the challenge that we are facing currently. And so it's a pleasure.
We can't hear you again, sir.
More are still, and we have more that are still joining us. So now we will be bringing on board our chairman so that he can welcome us properly. So in a moment, we'll be bringing on board the chairman of the Poultry Association of Nigeria, Oyo State, Mr. Gbemisoye Agboola.
Good morning, everyone. While waiting for other participants to join us, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to this great family of poultry industry in Nigeria, especially to this online seminar titled Biosecurity for Poultry, Sustainable Poultry Business on this critical period. Firstly, I want to say a big thank you to the organizer of this program, PAN Oyo State Chapter, in collaboration with other major stakeholders, elders, and at the same time, the lover of poultry industry in Nigeria, which comes at this very right time. Also, I sincerely appreciate the sponsors of this great event and all our stakeholders, elders in the poultry industry, for their sincere support always to PAN Oyo State and national PAN at large. I beg your pardon. Firstly, I also want to appreciate the good and the fruitful effort of the national president, the entire member of the National Executive Council, the Director General of Poultry Association of Nigeria, as well as all the state PAN, the state chairmen, including Federal Capital Territory, for keeping the association flag, flying to the glory of God. At this junction, with heavy heart, on behalf of this great gathering, I want to sincerely empathize with our colleagues that were affected with recent outbreak of this recurrent avian influenza. May God, in His mercy, restore them back a multiple fold.
Amen.
Meanwhile, this program is centered on nearly technological approach to biosecurity measures to be adopted in our various firms and farms, with possible way out to put an end to this recurrent deadly disease ravaging the poultry industry in Nigeria. I therefore want us all to please be attentive to our well-loaded resource persons and researchers, and at the same time, wish us all to actively participate, especially during the interactive section of the program. I wish our speaker of today a profitable presentation, and also wish the webinar program a huge success. Thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you, sir. That's the Poultry Association of Nigeria, Oyo State Chairman, Mr. Gbemisoye Agboola, welcoming us so warmly. It's 11:25, and we are knocking on 100 participants already. So it's a pleasure then to request us to let us get into the kernel of the program, so that we do not punish those who came early for the offense of those who came late. So it's once again, as we get ready to go into the lecture, let me emphasize that this program received the sponsorship, the support of several sponsors within our industry. We are happy to acknowledge and to appreciate the support of Agricare STD Nigeria Limited. Thank you very much for your support. We also appreciate the support of FDH Limited. We appreciate the support of Jubaili. Jubaili, thank you very much. We also appreciate the support of Tonerite Limited. Tonerite, we thank you. Also, we appreciate the support. We also appreciate the support of Amobing Nigeria Limited.
You're welcome, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you
Thank
loud and
you.
clear. Yes.
Thank you. So we appreciate the support of Agricare, FDH, Jubaili, Tonerite. We appreciate Amobing Nigeria Limited. We appreciate CHI Limited. Thank you very much, CHI. We appreciate Apple and Pears Limited. Apple and Pears, thank you very much for your support. Thank you so very much. So, our first keynote speaker for today, as I said earlier, is a father figure in the profession. He's a veterinarian with over 4 decades of experience, and he has worked in all the notable places that you can mention in the industry. He's been part and parcel of all the major developments in the Nigerian poultry industry, and he's an internationally acclaimed poultry scientist. He is currently the president of Livestock Foundation for Africa, and he's been going all around the knowledge, all around the country, sharing knowledge about poultry in Nigeria. He's passionate about ensuring that Nigerians get it right. He's one of those whose concern is very deep that the poultry industry in Nigeria should be able to compete favorably on the international scene. And fortunately for us, we can call him a son of the soil. He has lived all his life in Ibadan, and he's an insider to all that is happening among us here. So it's a pleasure to welcome into our midst today and to yield the floor for what I know will be a very profound and insightful presentation. Our first keynote speaker for today, Dr. Stephen Adejoro. Dr. Adejoro, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers. God bless you. Thank you for the opportunity that you are giving to me to interact on this platform and share our experience from the life perspective. I've been in the eye of the storm of AI since 2006. I was the head of crack team appointed by Poultry of Nigeria to represent our presidential task force. And I did make a pronouncement and a position paper at that time. And I'm starting from that position paper today. And that position paper that I did make that time was also published in Ergonomics. And I will start with my summary, my conclusion then, which I said that it is no more I said compensation may not be suitable, sustainable in a monolithic resource economy. Crude oil declining revenue, like in the case of Nigeria, compensation may not be a sustainable strategy to apply in the control of AI disease. I said that critics of vaccination as a synergistic option must realize that vaccination is not the initial cause of AI, but remain a valuable tool if used wisely under a properly formulated policy. And this was published in 2007, and today it's as if a prediction was made. The federal government of Nigeria has not been able to sustain the policy of stamping out because of the declined resources. Oil prices have crashed, revenue are not available to sustain outbreaks all over the country. So government came out with a policy that we say in LAFA is a discriminatory policy. This policy is that If your birds are more than 3,000 and your farms suffer from AI, it's as if you're on your own. But farms that are less than 3,000 will be compensated. But we say in LIFA that this is not acceptable to us, that this is highly discriminatory to high investors who have gone to source for funds in the bank at a high cost of capital to leave them on their own, that compensation. So now, the above position is now vindicated by the data I'm going to be presenting on epidemics so far from 2006 to 2019 that this study was conducted, direct losses that we have suffered in the industry, livelihood vulnerabilities, and the effect of AI impact on the gross domestic product of the country. This, I hope you can see this slide. Are you following me?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, I hope you can see this slide. This slide
Yes,
is
sir,
talking
we
about
can
two
see.
things here. Definition of avian influenza as a devastating viral disease of poultry with zoonotic implications on human health, apart from the huge economic impacts arising from direct and indirect consequences on poultry industry. We know that it's zoonotic, but we hardly have been able to identify 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 people that have been affected in Nigeria. We had one in 2006. We say, some of us say it's doubtful, I don't know. But the impact of this on the industry is what I show as a graph on the right side there. You can see that we are showing here about 3 different offshoots of AI in Nigeria, 2006, 2008, showing the local government that are affected and showing the number of farms that are affected. Then the second surge, 2015, 2016, and the recent surge, the third surge, 2017 to 2019. Of course, there's another surge that is coming now that we have not updated, but which we will update later. This is the core area that I want you to please focus on, is the epidemiology and the economic and social influence of avian influenza that are presented in our study. 2006 to 2008, there were 28 local governments that were affected in Nigeria, only to shoot up to 114 local governments in 2015 to 2016 outbreaks, and 150 local governments up to 2019. The total number of farms that are affected in the start was only 62 farms. Went up to 464 farms in 2015-16, and has gone up as far as to 1,347 farms as I have studied in 2019. The total number of birds exposed was marginal, 500,000, 2006, went to 3.7 million birds in 2016, and now standing at about 10 million birds that were affected. We look at the total estimated direct losses. In 2006 to 2008, it's in the range of 1.1 billion naira, but shot up to 8.9 billion 2015 to 2016. And as at the end of our study in 2019, we have been recording 22.8 billion as direct losses from AI in your industry, to 22.8 billion losses. We look at percentage of exposed birds over current population. At the initial stage in 2006, about 0.27% of the population went to 2.6%. Now we are talking about over 5% of the total industrial population has been exposed to the risk of AI. The most devastating aspect of this study is the estimated population of employees that are retrenched. Earlier in 2006, we had about 324 employees. 2016, about 2,470 employees. And 2019, we recorded about 6,447 of AI. You know, one employee in Nigeria has about 3 or 4 people that are attached to them, family vulnerabilities. When we look at the family vulnerabilities of AI, it rose from 1,620 in 2006-2008 to 12,350 in 2015-2016, and has gone up to as high as 32,235 people that are highly vulnerable to the outbreak of AI in the industry. Then we look forward to look at the effect of AI on the GDP, which is very, very relevant. How does it affect the GDP? From 0.04% in 2008 to 0.09% in 2016 to as high as 0.16% as at the end of this study in 2019. This is what I've shown here infographically. You see on the bar graph on the right side, the effect of AI loss on national GDP that has a progressive increase of the effect of AI on GDP. It's going directly into the GDP. So it is highly devastating. It is of a great concern. And this is your industry. And I'm happy that you are here listening to that. The next slide, please. Then avian influenza most recent outbreak is what we now call in LEFA as the fourth shock. This started just around January of this year, and it's CH5N1, and it has devastated about 329,000 birds in Nigeria, chicken killed. It has affected 62 farms so far. This is the recent one. We are yet to update it, but this is the information we have so far at our fingertips. I'll just say situation, surveillance team observations are very, very relevant in this study here, that they have observed preliminary that dead and infected birds are not well deposited by farmers, that some farms were infected from feed miller centers due to exchange of bags. This is very, very critical to the observation, to the biosecurity, to the prevention of this problem. Circulation of bags as a critical risk for the spread of AI infection. I love that observation. Lack of proper farm records, and we need to observe this. Without proper farm records, we cannot get the data we are now analyzing. We can't get that. I will come back to how those data were elicited, but because of the time, and we'll give acknowledgement to those who work together with us to get the result. Lack of proper biosecurity measures. These are observations by the Ministry of Agriculture. Next slide. Now, I want you to look at this. The epidemiology of AI, and then the critical impact of migratory birds on Nigeria. These are migratory birds. These are birds that are migrating all over because of change of the climate change, because all these problems we're talking about, they are the offshoots of climate change. And these birds migrate out winter from one country, Southeast Asia, to several countries of the world. They are carriers. If they carry the air, you don't know, they won't come back, they won't come down. And also local carriers like geese and dogs are also carriers of AI. The sporadic spread of the virus has been attributed to migratory birds and mechanical vectors that could be carrying the virus asymptomatically. The outbreak spread rapidly across many countries where scientists believe that migratory birds, which became susceptible, have spread infection as they overwinter into the tropics. This is the study of Austin et al. In 2006. Next slide. Now I'm showing you here is the map of migratory birds all over the world. There are 8 migratory birds in the world that are just moving all over the world, and unfortunately in Africa, 3 of them are coming to Africa. 3 of them are coming to Africa. If you can see the slide, we have indicated them with the color pink, blue, and this they go from. And Nigeria perpetually has one that is coming to Nigeria every year. So Nigeria is sitting at a risk of an annual outbreak. Nigeria is sitting at a risk of a biannual outbreak because of the perpetual migratory birds. And you see some of the migratory birds, they cross themselves at various places. They all come and they spread these diseases along the countries which they go through. I want to know whether people are following me, please.
We are following you, sir. We are following you.
Yes, we are.
We are following you. We are following you.
Mitigating the Nigerian risk. mitigating the Nigerian risk. If we say Nigeria is sitting at a risk, that a particular migratory bird will come in virtually every year, and you see outbreak occurring between January and February. That's every year when the occurs January and February. And now, how do we mitigate the risk in Nigeria? Now we said there must be constant surveillance study on migratory birds in Nigeria. Let me bring this to the knowledge of average farmer. What we are saying is this: if these migratory birds are the risk, and if government, by the virtue of the wisdom of government and power of government and financial resources of government, decide to fund research institute and fund them and say, study the for us. We know where they're located all over the country. We send sentinels and carry them and do a several survey on them and quantify the circulating antibody that they carry. Now we can quantify them. We can translate the finding into percentages on state basis, on state level. We can then create what we call an epidemiological risk map of AI in Nigeria, so that the decision maker, like the Minister of Agriculture, can look back at his office and see the whole of Nigeria and say, yes, in Taraba State, we have about 3% in the social state, 21%, in this state, 0.something%. Then you can look at the global perspective of the country and see how you can concentrate funds and see how you can concentrate prophylactic measures in managing the risk in the various aspects of the country before it starts spreading all over the country. Next slide. Now, and we said, what is OIA saying? OIA is the final arbiter, is the world body that is responsible for it. But let's look at what they are saying. OIA reported that it is no more ethical to exclude vaccination from the proactive management of AI, especially in developing countries that high economy could not support some out and compensation. That is OIA talking. It is no more ethical to exclude vaccination from your holistic management or portfolio of management, especially the countries whose economy is declining like our own. So, and they said, I also recommend that for adequate and sustainable animal food security, countries who lack the financial muscle to compensate vulnerable farms to AI must adopt AI vaccination. This is the work of Andre Haman. Countries who lack the muscle must not exclude vaccination, must start thinking about vaccination as a holistic approach to the management of AI. Next slide. OIA also said unfolding development in OIA points towards a policy shift from a solo strategy of stamping out to a mixed strategy that emphasizes prevention by synergy of emergency depopulation and prophylactic vaccination. In Lakapua, you all know Lakapua is the leading researcher in OIA, and I was part of the webinar where this conference on May 2006, and listen to what Lakapua said. Lakapua said in a web webinar in 13 September 2006, widely viewed all over the world, it emphasized the need to change preventive strategy from mere stamping out to adopting vaccination as a synergy. Ilalakapa believes that biosecurity must be first line of defense mechanism, which must be strictly emphasized on an individual farm basis. She concluded that a holistic control to AI has no universal solution, but must embrace the development of relevant knowledge acquisition, which what they are doing now, courtesy of PAN or your state, a holistic biosecurity practices that will embrace the following subsets. What are these subsets? Control of movement of infected animals, control of movement of contaminated materials, like the circles, bells that are circled that are used and they're being criminalized, the also report, control of movement of staff. C, vaccination. Next slide. But what is our recommendation in LIFA? LIFA recommends heavy funding of VOM and other research institutes for fast and easy diagnosis of AI serotype, and the manufacturing of such vaccines in Nigeria. 2, LAFA recommends that a category of poultry investors exempted from the new government compensatory policy should be allowed to adopt a mixed prophylactic strategy of biosecurity, education, insurance, and vaccination. The vaccine, of course, that are mostly recommended for this kind of is the killed vaccines of the serotypes that are known in Nigeria. And how do you recommend this? Such vaccine must be approved by the Veterinary Department, Ministry of Agriculture, prior to any importation, and NAFDAC notification of such approval must be a part of the people policy. For Nigeria to prevent further fast spread of AI, to have marginal risky states, such states should be allowed to practice ring vaccination immediately an outbreak is summoned in the neighboring state. Next slide. There is a need for national AI risk map for Nigeria to be updated regularly. 6, we should learn from the scenario of Gomboro epidemic in the early 80s. I was again part of the storm of the Gomboro outbreak in the early 80s when it was a taboo to vaccinate against Gomboro that was to be allowed to follow a pattern of self-limitation until farmers started losing 30 to 40% of their stock. They said a prominent veterinarian at that time, who was my boss, late Dr. Moses York, pioneered vaccination of Gomboro with the 3rd vaccine. But when one produced his own Gomboro vaccination, they did not say don't vaccinate anymore. Everybody was vaccinating. And that was how this disease has been able to become curtailed today. If today one has produced an AI vaccine, will government still recommend that our farmers must not vaccinate for this disease? It's a question for all of you to answer, please. Ladies and gentlemen, because of time factor, I want to conclude. We believe that before Burma arrives at our own vaccine production, imported vaccine of the strains identified in Nigeria should be allowed on import license by the Ministry of Agriculture, Department of Veterinary Sciences, when NAFDAC and Customs should be duly notified before importation. Ladies and gentlemen, avian influenza has come to stay with us in Nigeria, like Newcastle, like Mares, like Gomboro disease, and several other diseases that are now being vaccinated for by farmers to stabilize their investment. Therefore, we don't know why we cannot recommend or we cannot persuade government as an NGO on a persuasive measure, government to look into the possibility of adopting a synergy, even as being prescribed by OIE, that vaccination should be part of the holistic approach in the management of this disease in Nigeria. Acknowledgement. Acknowledgement. We must.
You can't hear you again.
Give special acknowledgement to the cause of our study, the Poultry Association of Nigeria, Abuja, the ED, the chairman, the president, the Veterinary Surgeon General of Nigeria. I have a high due respect because they gave us access to this epidemiological findings which we came back to analyze. And specifically, we must acknowledge the support of Boyinga, Ilenga, AI desk officers, especially Oyo and Ogun State. We are fully involved and supported us in the investigation that we carry out. And lastly, the staff of Livestock Industry of Africa, and in particular, our NGO data analyst, Mr. Lawal, our PhD in view. We thank you very much for listening to this short brief, and we appreciate that they will form part of your decision making in presenting a solid communicate to government of a way forward in the management of this menace in the Nigerian industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a very powerful presentation.
Very powerful, sir.
Thank you.
This is great, especially on vaccination. This is great, doctor.
Yeah.
Stephen, God bless you, sir. God bless you, sir. God bless you, sir.
Appreciate
You are
you.
speaking, and please, I may be out of this garden. I have heard what I want to hear. Dr. Adijolo has spoken, and he has spoken well. Thank you all.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Don't be out. Stay with us as much as possible.
Thank you, yes, sir.
Thank you very much. On the chat box, we even have a contribution from as far away as Yobe State.
Yes.
Madaki from Yobe State says, thank you for organizing the meeting. It's an information medium indeed. So we see that this is not just an Oyo State matter. It's a national, that's national reach. And I believe that what we will come up with at the end of this will also have national impact. Thank you very much for your presentation, Dr. Adejoro.
It was wonderful.
On the screen, I can see the national president of the Poultry Association on the screen. Thank you very much, our national president. So now that we can see you, do I have the indulgence of my chairman to allow you to say a sentence or two?
It's the one that put us, all of us here.
So our national president, Ezekiel Ibrahim, please, let's have you say a few words before we go to our sponsors. Don't forget, everyone, Dr. Wageti is still going to speak. So our national president, you have the floor, sir.
Yes, good morning all for this wonderful event. Are you hearing me?
Yeah. We are hearing you loud and clear, sir.
Yes. I really appreciate the organizers of this seminar at this particular time. It is so apt, it is so important. I can't thank you enough, especially our daddy, Dr. Adejoro, Dr. Wageti. I've been following you, doing so wonderfully on the field. Your support has been so important for the survival of the poultry industry.
Thank you, sir.
I am going to listen. Beyond listening, I will appreciate at the end of the day, let's have all these documents together. And at the national level, we have to really push the government to understand our situation. Beyond that, while our daddy was speaking, my mind is going very far. Actually, I was thinking that we should have a poultry bank. We are going to put this to the CBN and the government, because now we have agri-bank. It's so generalized. But I believe the driver of any economy in the world when there is crisis is the poultry, because it's the quickest way of return on investment. This is the quickest way you can get food on the table of the people. It is not going to be, my thinking, is not going to be government, wholly government funded. Let us farmers buy into it, buy shares. Then on the board, we have the private sector, the investors, the Poultry Association, and the government, so that we have cheaper fund for research. These people are using the limited resources, support even not from us, but from outside. And how could it have been much better if we also lend their support to these our researchers? Believe you me, the poultry industry has a great potential, and a lot of people are looking onto us. A situation is coming that we may not get the assistance we are used to getting, because if we see the crisis in Europe and America, they may not have the extra. So it's time for us to look inwards. I'm not talking for now because all of us are trying to survive. And it's this type of thing and the resilience of the farmer. It's going to be a matter of time. We are going to be over this. But what will be our focus? What can we think we'll do to leave a better legacy for the younger generation coming up? Once again, Oyopan, I can't thank you enough. Well done for thinking about this seminar at the right time. All the sponsors, our industrial players, CHI, Agritech, Amo Beans, and all of you, we really appreciate you for supporting the industry this long. Please, don't get tired. Don't get tired, because at the end, history will be just to you. History will be fair to you. Thank you, and God bless as we continue to listen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's our national president. Well, my state chairman is clapping here. So if you can clap where you are, please clap for our national president. Thank you so very much. That was a very inspiring and encouraging set of remarks. And it's very gratifying to note that you are paying attention and that you have in mind to act upon what are the outcomes of this discussion. Thank you very much, our national president. Before we go to the second keynote speaker, we'd like to hear a few of the messages from our sponsors. As I said, not in any particular order like that. We will take Agricare, FDH, and Jubilee now. Agricare, FDH, and Jubilee.
The resurgence of the highly pathogenic avian influenza virus in some parts of Nigeria is a serious threat to the poultry industry, considering the devastating nature of the disease. As at June this year, over 30 farms in 11 states were reported to have been affected with the deadly virus. The species affected in this recent observation include ostriches, geese, turkeys, layers, peacock, and chickens. This is a wake-up call for every farmers to protect their farm against this raving epidemic. There is need to be proactive about curtailing the further spread of the disease. How do we prevent the further spread? We need to up our biosecurity measures with the use of strong disinfectants, specifically against the avian influenza virus. Agricare's disinfectant G10 is a powerful broad-spectrum disinfectant that has the ability to eliminate all kinds of microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, virus. It has the ability to penetrate all hooks and crannies, including where microorganisms are difficult to access due to being protected by debris, dirt, fat deposits, and organic waste. Independently proven to be active against all strains of avian influenza virus. Fast-acting, effective at low concentration. Can be used for total disinfection of all livestock facilities, poultry pen, farms, water troughs, vehicles, hospitals, and incubators. can be used for disinfection upon infection outbreak to eliminate the pathogenic remnants in the environment. Available nationwide. Contact
you know, it's just to go. Never spray am. So now you know how we don't do again. That other box. I don't have it. Okay. See, come. This is 15. Yes. 50, 20, 25, 30, 50. So now wash this thing. Use this 30, 35. Here. 35. Here.
Yes, sir.
Not more than this one.
No, I don't see him.
You don't see him?
Yes.
You need something to make a man.
No, I see him.
Of crap, crap, you
I see him. Okay.
No.
I dey come.
Wait to be sprayed that time. We know. Throw back.
Please mute your mics. So mute your mics.
Okay.
That was AgriCare. Our next sponsor is FDH. You would see them on the screen in a moment. While we are waiting for the FDH, the FDA advert is what you see on the screen there. Coxy, Plat R, and Coxyplat. These are resources for the management of coccidiosis. The application is by eye drop. Diluent is not needed. Also orally by feed, diluent not needed. It is for both layers, breeder, broilers, and then Coxyplat is for broilers only. The dosage is indicated on the material, and the caution is that do not use any coccidia during any coccidia drug after vaccination. Do not pack litter till 3-4 weeks of age because of vaccine cycling. FDH Agro is distributing this product in Nigeria, Coxyplat R and Coxyplat coccidiosis vaccine, and their office is located at FDH Agrovet Nigeria Limited, Iwo Road, Ibadan. Their email, as indicated, is there, and their telephone number 081 8233 2755. Once again, 081 8233 2755. HD Agrovet Iwo Road, Ibadan. Okay, after FDH, we come to Jubilee. So let's have Jubilee now. Jubailee's advert is audio. We will listen to them in a moment.
How you know that? Now everything I dey do, I dey into buy, and I go buy am. Good. For July Tech, I feel that the time farmers go buy product everything. They don't need to buy so all the things when you buy umbrella say they look for their first. They don't big music. You don't need to buy big. Now when they buy clothes, you already things go up your name. Because it's this side. That's it. Go kill all the things where they get all the antibiotics. Say if you use them for breeding, they for breeding. That's not Nigeria. You have so many distributors around Nigeria. How you know that? Everything I dey do, I dey into broiler production, and I go buy am, I go try am, and see go. Natives, they test and my it's affordable. Please don't come together. Wow, my best don't buy finish. Maybe it's just the enter. Just give them the veteran. You have to try it. Like the woman, they get this thing. My friend, I go bless you for this one. Wow. So anyway, any shop where you get to ask for any more product. Really?
The video is not showing. Is it only audio?
Yeah, it's audio from Jubaili Agro. It's audio that their material.
No video.
That was
All right,
Jubaili. It's audio. Thank you very much. And we want to once again thank our sponsors in this stream of advert. We had AgriCare, we have FDH Agro and Jubaili. Thank you very much, our sponsors. We will take a break from that now and get ready for the second keynote speech, which will be taken by Dr. James Babawageti. While he's getting ready, let me go to the chat box and say to us that we even have a participant from the UK. Mr. Joseph Olubinga said he's joining us from the UK. He's appreciating us. We also have someone joining us from Kwara. Oyo State people, I can see you. I'm just giving preference to outsiders. I can see all of you on the chat box that are indicating your presence. While that is going on, let me also say that to make it easier for Dr. Makanjola while leading our plenary session, if it is possible for you to write your questions and comments in the chat box, please do so that we can start harvesting them ahead of the time. Quite all right. Those who want to raise their hands and speak on audio or video, you will be allowed, no doubt. But if you can put your questions and comments in the chat box, we do not mind, so that we can start getting ready for it. Okay, Jubaili Agro Tech, I can see the comment about your advertisement. What I will do is that let's make it good so that after Dr. Wageti's speech, we can put it in the next poll of advert. So if there is any correction you want to do, you have the time while Dr. Wageti is talking to quickly communicate with our admin and make the correction. Thank you very much. So now let us have, for the next keynote speech, a very good brother of mine, an erudite speaker, a good veterinarian, a very competent veterinarian. Dr. Baghetti has become what you will call a nomadic teacher. He's gone around everywhere, teaching farmers, teaching veterinarians, and then when you hear that he's national sales manager, you wonder when he gets the time to sell, because he's always going about teaching. So very soon we will give him professor.
Thank you, sir.
So, ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome to this platform to talk to us about this matter on the ground, the matter where they ground. Dr. James Baba Wageti. Dr. Wageti, you have the floor now.
Thank you, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you.
You can see my slide?
Not yet.
My slide not showing? Well, I've shared it.
Okay, let's try again. It's not showing yet.
Okay, let me try. Can you see? Can you see? Let me do. Can you see it now?
It's coming up. Yeah,
Okay.
we can see
We
it now.
told you to send it since.
No, it's okay now.
Thank you. We can see it now.
Okay. Thank you. I wanted to use my pointer. That's why I want to present from my own side. That's the reason.
Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, my fellow farmers. First of all, I want to appreciate the chairman of Pan Oyo and his team and the entire member of Oyo Farmer for giving me this privilege to talk on this biosecurity today. So I appreciate you all. And I also want to appreciate my Oga, my boss, my mentor, Dr. Dejero, for doing the wonderful presentation this morning. I really enjoy it. And on the issue of AI vaccination is something that we have been tackling the government on that. We have been talking to government, even of the ministry, but they are so, when they are adamant, and I will suggest that with today, Adejoro presentation, I would like the Pan Oyo executive to liaise with Adejoro and see how we can meet the government and how they can now implement vaccination against AI. Because the reason that they give the federal government is that the vaccine maybe it will mutate and not become genetic. But there is new vaccine in the market, which is vectorized vaccine, that they don't use live vaccine. They use the protein of the virus. So with that vaccine, there is no mutation, there is no genetic on that vaccine. And it's used all over the world, even in USA, even Cameroon here, they're using it. So I don't know why our government are not keyed into that. So I will still solicit the Pan Oyo, and locally the Pan president is on this webinar to go and meet the government and see how we can implement vaccination in Nigeria, because farmers are losing a lot and farmers don't compensate. So farmers are on their own. So I will say thank you all. Well, today I'm going to, my Oga, the Pan chairman, give me this topic to talk this afternoon. Biosecurity for sustainable poultry business in this critical period. That's a period of AI, period where things are not going well with the farmer. And like my boss have said, Dr. Kwalawale, I'm Dr. James Babawageti, your servant, the marketing and national manager for Adamo Nigeria Limited. We are the one that are marketing Kepro product. And in Adamo, our main business is farming, not selling of drugs. So we are farmer to the core. And by the grace of God, the Lasana farm, I'm one of the pioneers. We started from scratch with 3,000. And as of today, we have 250,000 fully automated system. Though it's not easy for us now with the way things are happening. So thank you for having me this afternoon. Well, like Adikiro have said, there's challenges in the poultry industry. And currently, if you look at it, I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? Hello, sirs.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
We can hear you.
The challenges farmers are facing currently is that feed cost is a major problem. Disease issue, like AI is there. Antibiotic issue is also there. You have some standard antibiotic in the market. Farmers are misuses of antibiotic. It's a major challenge in the poultry industry. We have also the marketing of it not showing the marketing. Currently, I have 6-day production in my office at the back of my where I'm presenting. 6-day production. Farmers are now they're not coming. We have also security issues. So farmers cannot even go to the farm now. In our farm, months back, they just carry farmer anyhow like that demanding for ransom. It's a problem. Then we have staff issue. Sorry, they're calling me. Let me off my phone. Sorry. Let me put my phone. We have staff issue. You see staffs are free here and there, and they are causing havoc to farmers. So these are challenges farmers are facing in Nigeria and all over the world. But for today, I was given the time to talk on disease only. That disease meant what you call biosecurity. I'm not going to talk about biosecurity and that related to disease. So we now look at this disease that we are talking about that is affecting poultry business. We have bacterial disease, which is Mycoplasma, E. coli. We have protozoa. We have virus like the AI we are talking about, Newcastle. We have fungi. We have external parasites like lice. We have internal parasites like worms. So these diseases are the ones that cause threat to poultry industry and make dwindling profit for the farmers. I want to be fast because of time. And we now look at that disease. How did they get our farm? How did this disease that I mentioned, even the AI, how did they get our farm for the first instances? If you look at this, my diagram, I put two rates, first day-old chicks. I can tell you authoritatively that most of disease we're having is coming from hatchery, because most of the hatchery in Nigeria, no, I'm not trying to say that no, some are very good, but some are not, they're substandard. Most, but I can say average, some of the hatchery we have in Nigeria, they produce macros to day-old chicks. As you collect day-old chicks, you have disease. So you have to use drugs from day one, and they introduce your farm. We have also people that are coming to your farm. A lot of people, they turn their farm to zoo. A farming is not a zoo, it's a business. So people are just coming to your farm and they bring disease. We have also issue of, neighboring farms. Most farmers don't keep this distance. You see, farms are clustering. When the issue, you see, all the farms will go in that area. So neighboring farm is a major problem. We have poultry equipment. These are how diseases are coming to our farm. We have animals, especially rats. They transfer E. coli, salmonella to your farm. Then we have wild birds, of which I don't know talk about that one, that are migrating and they are bringing disease to us. Then we have vehicles, the vehicles that are coming to our farm. This is how they are bringing disease to our farm. And then water. As of today in Nigeria, from my own study, most of, especially the bacterial disease, from water source. So water source is a major problem. These are how diseases are coming to our farm. Then the cause of this disease in poultry business, the cause of this disease a lot in terms of mortality, low production performance, less egg, less meat, slow growth rate, and poor performance, poor FCR, especially in broiler. Then we now have financial losses to farmers in terms of mortalities, in terms of use of drugs, in terms of low performance. And then we have human infection and death, especially in zoonosis, in case of salmonella and high pathogenic influenza. So these are the cause of disease in poultry business. Then let me take one of the diseases for the farmer to understand. Let me take out of the bacterial disease, let me take mycoplasma, so that farmer will now understand why biosecurity is very important. I'm just trying to lay a background before I go to my main topic. If you look at the survival of mycoplasma that causes biosecurity, in cotton, if your attendants or people are coming to your, if they are using cotton shed, the mycoplasma can stay there for 4 days. So if you as a farmer, you have attendants that are using cotton shed and is not washing the shed, when there's infection, it can easily transmit to the other pen because it can stay for 4 days in cotton, that mycoplasma. The mycoplasma can stay for 3 days in the hair. So if you have a attendant that's not even taking bath, not having his bath, and the mycoplasma is affected in one pen, it can easily transmit to the other pen. Survival mycoplasma can stay in rubber for 2 days, whether the boot or tire. So if you have a boot and you're not washing very well and there's infection, you know that the mycoplasma can stay there for 2 days, even in a car. So that you have, let us have this at the back of our mind. Then we now look at the principle of disease control. There are 3 principles to handle disease problem in poultry business. 1, biosecurity. 2nd, vaccination. 3rd, medication. And if you look at my chart, I put biosecurity in front, then 2nd, vaccination, then last, medication. And if you look at in Nigeria concept, like my Oga have said that I'm opportune to be traveling around the country because based on nature of my job, I'm the national marketing manager for Adamo Nigeria Limited. And once I'm around, I'm on the farm. If I'm not on the farm, I'm on the field. And from what I've observed in Nigerian farm particular, I can tell you authoritatively, 60% of poultry farmers in Nigeria, they substitute management with use of antibiotics. They substitute management with the use of antibiotic. And that's why antibiotic is selling in Nigeria. So we need to change that concept. So biosecurity is key in everything. That's the number one. If you have, if you're having a gomboro on your, maybe I want to vaccinate gomboro or Newcastle. If your biosecurity is not good, that vaccine will not work. So your first vaccination on your farm is biosecurity. Then the second is vaccination. So let me repeat your first vaccination on your farm is biosecurity. Your second vaccine is the vaccine. But a lot of farmers don't look at that. So please, so I'm going to take on biosecurity today and leave the vaccination and medication out of it. So what is biosecurity? This thing we have, I know some of you here, the most I fear of this, even before I go to university, but let me just say for the purpose of this training, biosecurity in poultry is so critical that it determines the success or failure of a farming business. Most disease outbreaks that happen on farms are as a result of failed biosecurity measure. Biosecurity in poultry is not what most people think it is. It is going beyond disinfecting your leg or farm booth before entering the pen, or preventing strangers from getting close to your farm, to your birds. It's not just in there. Biosecurity, if you look at the word biosecurity, it's two words, bio and security. Those that did science, bio is life, security is safeguarding or protecting. So if you now combine the two words, that's why they now combine the two words. Biosecurity is safeguarding the life or protecting the life of your bird or your investment. So that's biosecurity I'm talking about. And biosecurity is not just an impressive word pulled out of a dictionary. It is a way to reduce the risk of introducing or spread of disease on your farm. It's a management tool that shall be implemented by all farmers at all levels to reduce the spread of introducing disease to your farm. And if you look at this biosecurity, let's look at the structure of biosecurity. Let's look at this. How does it look like? I look at a biosecurity like a building. The pillar is what we call the conceptual biosecurity. This is the full component of biosecurity. We have what we call conceptual biosecurity. We have structural biosecurity. We have operational biosecurity. So I want us to look at all the three before we now go into the detail. The structural the conceptual biosecurity are the measure considered when planning a poultry business. When you start a poultry, what are the measures did you consider to set up your farm? These are called conceptual biosecurity. Ideally, a farm should be at least 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers from each other, breeder 3 kilometers. But you see, most of our farms, they are just walking distance. That is, and when there is a disease like this area, before all the farm there will be affected. When there's Newcastle, or before all the farm around there will be affected. Before they'll be looking for antibiotics. So a key point is that location of farm in relation to concentration of poultry of same or different species. You have to consider that one when you want to set up your farm. That's conceptual. Then connectivity to the road. How is it the farm to the road? You have to consider that one. Then proximity of water supply and the quality of water. If I have idea of the having now, why we set up our farm, I could not set up my farm there, our farm there, because the water on our farm is hard water. So ideally, a poultry farm shall be sited on a place where the water is soft. If the place where you sited your farm is hard water, you will not run away from antibiotics, because hard water contains a lot of magnesium and calcium. And when you have a lot of this calcium magnesium in water, it now raises the pH of the water, and before you know it, bacteria multiply.